Last week during the funeral for Medal of Honor recipient Charles H. Coolidge, his son, Charles Coolidge Jr., gave the eulogy. He told personal stories about his father. Tonight, in The Price of Freedom, we sit down with Charles Coolidge Jr. He gives us a glimpse of what it was like to grow up the son of a war hero.
They got off the airplane and they're driving over.
A family story about a 4-year-old who had been living out of the country meeting his great-grandfather for the very first time.
And he says, "Are we at Grandpa Great's house yet?" And it stuck because he is Grandpa Great. He's not just any ordinary grandpa.
We all know Grandpa Great as Charles H. Coolidge. His oldest son, Charles Jr., a retired Air Force Lieutenant General, told us stories of his father's life stories that shed light on who his father really was. Charles Coolidge was one of 2 World War II Medal of Honor recipients who was not presented the medal by the president.
In fact, I'm told that he was offered by President Truman to come get, re-award the medal in the White House, and he deferred.
Charles Coolidge Jr. says that decision had nothing to do with his father's thoughts on President Truman. He says his father was just a humble man, and a big ceremony at the White House just was not important to him.
He came back to Chattanooga the middle of July, and at that point, they celebrated Coolidge Day on the 8th of August, 1945.
That was right as World War II was ending in Japan. So Charles Coolidge got married in October 1945. They had their first son, Charles Jr., about a year later. He and his 2 brothers grew up with a father who received the highest honor a member of the military can receive. But he says, in part because of his father's humility, he didn't have a full appreciation of the Medal of Honor until he went to the Air Force Academy.
And it wasn't that I didn't realize it. It's just that there were so many people who called on the phone and talked that were Medal of Honor recipients. So I thought with I think there were 273 awardees in World War II that were living.
There are a lot of stories about Charles Coolidge, including how much integrity meant to him, or that his positive attitude helped him live with MS for more than 55 years. Charles Coolidge Jr. told us a big part of that positive mental attitude was he didn't worry about the things that were out of his control.
Part of that came from his faith. Part of it came from his understanding of there were things that were truly outside his control. And he just had to trust that everything would work out. And he always thought it would work out. Everything. And that's the power of positive thinking.
Charles Henry Coolidge Jr. had a long and successful military career. Went to the Air Force Academy in 1968. He retired as Lieutenant General in 2004. He was a captain during the Vietnam War. He served in country from August 1971 to August 1972.